Hello. Welcome to tonight's write-in. We are very excited to get some words written. I know I'm excited, at least. I guess I shouldn't speak for everyone else, but
You take that back.
So take it back. I'm excited. Yeah, because I've been getting kind of in the writing mood lately, so this would be a good reason to get some work done. So if you've never been here for a write-in before, because it looks like we have a lot of people tonight, we usually do about 20-minute writing sprints. Sometimes we do a shorter one, but we'll like take a certain amount of time to all just like quietly work on whatever we're working on, and then we'll come back together and we can answer any questions you have about writing or reading, or just talk about how things are going. So yeah, so I guess we can all go around. There's a lot of us tonight, and talk about what we are working on right now. So I'm going to start at the bottom with Desiree. Oh no, she's frozen.
Anything to get out of going first.
She's actually just being very, very
sneaky.
Oh, Des, you're back.
What are you working on?
Oh.
Des, can you hear us?
No.
Uh-oh.
I'll put a thing in the chat.
Yeah. Okay, well, I will start with Kyra instead. What are you working on? Oh, Des.
Okay. I might be laughing really bad right now. But I'm going to be working on homework, so nothing too exciting.
But important. Kyra?
I am Oh, we got her just long enough. I am working on my Nano novel. I've recently kind of, because you write it for Nano, and then usually you have to let it sit for a little while, and now it's ready to be looked at again.
Yay. Exciting.
So
Nano feels like it was so long ago, but it was only like 3 months.
I know.
And Rachel?
I am also working on homework because over the weekend I found out that I have an assignment due next week that I completely forgot about. So
no,
I know, time to do some bibliography research.
No, it's the worst feeling. Erin?
Tonight I'm working on my Dark Academia book, In a Forest Dark and Deep, and I'm rewriting chapter 1 from a different POV, so yay.
Yay. Megan?
I am working on revisions of my ghost book. Me and Kyra finished our book that we've been writing together for 5 years. So we finished that this week, and now I've been really hyped to like also knock out the ghost book because there's not much left in it. And so it's like, if I can finish that, then I just don't have to do anything for the rest of the year because that's 2 books. So yeah, I'm working on that. It's a horror. It's fun. I think it's a horror. I don't know. I can never tell the difference between horror and just like a dark contemporary fantasy.
I think a lot of it has to do with like the intended feelings it evokes. You know? Like if it's meant to cause horror in your okay, then that's probably just dark.
It's just dark.
I still want to talk about this at some point of like writing dark stuff because like I do feel like I don't really know the difference. If everyone likes writing dark fantasy now, but what does that mean?
I'm just gonna give it to beta readers and be like, what do you think this is?
I think horror is more like, yeah, like Emma said, the idea of it is to horrify your readers versus like unsettling them, you know?
Yeah.
I would think that too, but we do have a lot of books coming out lately, like Ghostwood Song, and what's the one I just read? The one where the girls' dads are like the Ghost Adventures guys equivalent.
Oh,
I can't remember the title right now. Hang on, let me pull it up.
you have told us about it, but
And both of those are very similar to mine, and I've seen both of them pitched as both.
Interesting.
Where is it? I'm gonna get it.
Oh, wait.
The Dead in the Dark.
Because I feel like if I took something like The Call, I would not pitch that as dark fantasy. It's like straight up horror, even though it has fantasy.
But there are
elements.
fae, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely has fantasy elements, but there's like an element of gore to it that's just like takes it up several notches, you know.
Well, that's like one thing about horror is that horror always has speculative elements in it.
Yeah.
If it doesn't have speculative, then it's like a thriller or
I guess the thing I'm wondering about is like, because I have the body horror level of like Wilder Girls, but
Right. Yeah.
it's like siblings and there's like sibling drama too. So
I like
Yes.
maybe this is just me personally, but if there's like a body horror element to it, like to me that's horror. Like just straight up
Mhm.
horror.
But what if it's only in there for like 3 scenes? Like, does it still count, or does it have to go through the entire book? Because like I have a fantasy novel that I love that's like very gory, but I wouldn't count it as horror.
mm,
I
Yeah.
think for me, part of it is that like if it's horror, usually the arc is like the storyline is like there's this horrific thing that we're trying to
Yeah.
survive. Whereas with
the
fantasy,
point
it's
is
like
the horror. Yeah.
Mhm.
like the whole like story is like we need to survive this horror thing.
Yeah.
But with like as opposed to fantasy where you have like other types of like traditional fantasy
Yeah.
quest, like a quest line or a
like things that are happening might be horrific.
yeah.
Mhm.
To me, that's kind of how I conceptualize the difference. But I'm not like
I feel like that's a good way.
and I don't know the difference.
I feel like that's a good way of saying it. Like the horror is the point versus like the horror is just there, maybe, you know, along with fantasy. So
much to consider.
yeah.
Let
I
us
have
know
more
what you think.
questions, but I think it's going to be another topic because
Yeah.
we could talk about it for a very long time.
Kelly, what are you working on?
Yeah.
Sorry to derail.
My big goal for tonight is to actually pick a project. So I'm going to go back into my Evernote notebook and look through stuff and pick something. I meant to do it this week, but there was just so many other things going on. I have to just commit to a project so that next week when I have writing time, I can do something about it. So
Nice.
And I am working on plotting in NovelPad, which
Yay, me too.
Oh, I need to send them.
yeah, yeah. Megan's got something for that. Which yeah, is a program that a lot of us are kind of testing out right now. But I'm going back and rewriting, kind of replotting and rewriting an idea from a few years ago. So I'm working through that right now. So are you sharing the link to that, Megan? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, I'll share a link to that. Again, this is NovelPad. It's like a writing word processor that's kind of designed specifically for writers. And we've all been playing with it a lot over the last couple weeks.
And it's so
great.
good for people that are technologically dumb like me and can't figure out Scrivener.
Yeah, it really is like Scrivener, but designed to make it as easy as possible for you to do all the things that Scrivener can do, but get to your writing as quickly as possible.
I'm so obsessed with it.
So yeah, so with that, I think we're going to go ahead and start our first writing sprint. Might as well. So we're going to do 20 minutes of writing, hopefully focused writing. If you haven't been here before, we always do prompts for each of our writing sprints. If you need an idea of something to write during this 20 minutes, then this idea is for you. If you don't need an idea of what to write, then you can feel free to ignore it. And tonight, they are themed around the Legend of Zelda series because today is the 35th anniversary of the first game. And also, I just finished playing Link's Awakening yesterday, so it's perfect. So the prompts are kind of different famous quotes, or they're based around them. So the first one is, "It is dangerous to go alone." So your character gets a special tool that can help them through whatever their goal is in your story. So we will start that now and be back in 20 minutes at the 5. So good luck. and time. How did it go? The first 10 minutes was me just like staring at my computer and then staring at my notebook and then staring at my computer and staring at my notebook.
That's an important part of the writing process.
Yes.
Staring is a very important part of my process.
I got 641 in new words, which is good because my revisions always need more words. So, yay.
I deleted some things.
Intentionally or
On purpose this time.
I started putting my Anastasia Dragons book into NovelPad. I feel like that's as close to a commitment as I'm going to get.
Ooh.
Like, I've written like 60,000 words of this book. It's done-ish, just needs a lot of revision, so I should do that one.
Exciting.
That's awesome. That's a lot of words.
It is. I've written this book a couple of times now. I just need to like finish it.
I signed up for NovelPad. So I like it.
That as well.
Yay. We had a question about that. Does NovelPad have an app? No, it's a browser-based.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Scrivener, basically. I don't know how you would do Scrivener on an app. Maybe you
Scrivener does have an app.
could. How do you do that on an app? That would make
You can do
me-
anything on apps. You just have to format them differently. I'm learning about that in my class this week.
I know that some
It's
people write
wild.
books on their cell phones, but I don't understand.
I would love to see NovelPad be like more mobile friendly at the very
Yeah.
least.
Yeah, I know because Kelly and I met with the creators and talked for a bit, and that was one of the things we asked about was if they had an app or had plans for one.
Did they say? What did they say?
They said right now it's just browser based and that it's something that they're like open to in the future. But,
Yeah, they're still adding stuff to the even browser based part of it. So
yeah.
I just want them, and I've told them this, but I want them to have like a side by side thing so I can like see one document and see the changes I'm making to it,
Yeah, that would be
which they
amazing.
said they're working on doing. So that would be awesome.
Agreed.
We have lots of words in the comments. ATW got 798 and said, "How did that happen?" That's what I think every time I manage to write new words. How did that happen?
Witchcraft.
Alfonso got
Yeah.
747, and I think they might be viable words. I like the
Yes.
confidence we have tonight.
I only got so many words because I saw William say, "I'm here for that typing sound," and I was like, "Oh no, I can't stop typing." I'm the only one unmuted.
I like went to start. I'm like, I'm just staring at Evernote. There's no typing sounds to go with it.
It was great. It made my word count go way higher. I felt panicked, but in a good way.
I can leave my mic on if anyone wants like the muffled sound of other people's conversations. Because my husband's having a phone conversation on the other side of the wall. Danya got coffee and 78 words. Coffee is important.
Yes.
Stephanie got 236 after deciding whether I was editing or writing today. The Beautiful Erin, it's a great name, got 217, and Vanessa got 244.
Nice. Way to go, guys.
Like there was something I was going to ask when we came back, but now I've forgotten. So,
Is anyone reading anything good?
Well, Megan, I just finished Raybearer. So remember you were talking about that at last chat. Yeah, so I finished it this week. It was very good. Yeah.
I'm reading The Girl in the Tower by Catherine Arden, and I'm listening to Song of Achilles.
See, I got stuck like a fool. I started reading Circe, which is gigantic and not the kind of book I normally read. And I've been so stuck on it. I have like 50 pages left that I just need to sit down and commit to because I'm enjoying it. but
Yeah, I listened to that one.
yeah.
I have it on audiobook and I haven't listened to it yet, so I keep meaning to, but it's a long one. So it's like, oh,
Yeah.
maybe someday.
It is one of those ones that every once in a while you have to be like, wait, I haven't been listening for the last 30 minutes. What's happening now?
Yeah, and it's really good, but it is a very like introspective novel, and I'm not like a mythology geek in the first place, so I don't know most of these stories, and so I'm like, I feel like I would know what's coming if I knew the mythology, and that would increase the tension some.
Yeah.
I started reading an arc of A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky
Ooh.
Chambers, who wrote
Oh, I love
Long
Becky
Way to Small Your
Chambers.
Planet. So this is the first book in her new series, and it's about I don't know if it's Earth, probably not, but a world where humans and made robots and computers and stuff, and at one point the robots just like reached consciousness, decided we're out. They went to live in the wilderness, like it was all very polite. Nobody got angry at each other. They just decided they were going to do their own thing. So now the main character is a tea monk who usually like makes tea for people and hears about their problems, but they've decided to go off into the wilderness, and they just ran into the robot, and it's the first robot human meeting in forever, and I don't know what's happening, but it's interesting.
I just finished reading. It's I think the author's name is Nina Kenwood. It sounded better in my head as the name of the book, and like a YA contemporary, and the main character has like cystic acne, which I had in high school, and I've never read a YA book where the character like had that, and it like took me back. Like I had not thought about the fact that that was something I experienced in a really long time.
That's awesome.
I appreciate it. I
Yeah.
still have that, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Put in a book.
It was really like well written and funny too, but there were parts that I was reading and was just like, oh, my nostalgia. But nostalgia is like normally a good thing. Like, oh, my high school trauma.
Speaking of trauma, In Griswold is reading The Project by Courtney Summers.
That's
which
still
I'm-
high on my TBR.
Yeah, me too. I really want to read it. It sounds so good. So yeah, I guess we'll start our next sprint in like a minute. Are we good with that?
it.
So the theme for this next one, and once again, you can use this theme if you need something to help you figure out what to write next, or you can ignore it if you don't need it. And they are Legend of Zelda themed to celebrate the 35th anniversary. And so this one is, well, excuse me, princess. Write a snarky conversation between two characters.
And my
This-
bad, I forgot to put the prompt in the discussion section as well last time, but I just did it now.
There it is. It will also be across the bottom of the screen while we write. So, all right, so we will start that now, and we will be back at the 33 in 20 minutes. Good luck. in time to return to your chair.
Get out the whiteboard.
Oh my gosh.
My boss has a gigantic whiteboard in her office, and every time I like am in there, I'm like, I just want to steal that and take it home with me.
You should steal it.
Should.
Just stage a thievery.
Let
Heist.
chaos reign.
Yes. This is our chance to do a heist, guys.
Steal the giant whiteboard.
Yeah, start small.
I've been working on in these revisions. I am in a section that is largely new content, and all of that content is just completely breaking everyone's relationships with each other so that then the monster can come at the moment that none of them get along with anyone. And so, yeah, it's been really difficult, and it's been taking a really long time to kind of figure out what I'm doing. And I realized yesterday that I've been getting so caught up in the prose of it that I took this, it was the biggest fight scene was what I did yesterday, and I just blocked it out. Like, so Kate's gonna do this, Max is gonna do this, and just like didn't worry about making it look pretty or making it make sense or be grammatically correct, just being like, he's gonna do this, she's gonna do this, he's gonna do this. And then like at the bottom I just went crazy. I didn't erase all of that yet, but just crazy with dialogue, like blue's one character, green is another, just writing down like what are all the mean things they're gonna say to each other. And then when I went to actually write the scene, a scene I've been trying to write for weeks, it took like 20 minutes. It was so easy because I heard
Nice.
Yeah.
big recommend.
I feel like sometimes like I have trouble like writing a thing or plotting a thing because I like have like too many ideas like all like jumbled in my head, and you just have to like kind of like vomit them all out, I think sometimes, and then like arrange them instead of trying to do it in order. Yeah.
That's what I keep having to tell
Love it.
myself with the scene where I'm writing like setting. I'm like trying to describe a forest, and I'm like, I could make the word sound good later. Like I just have to describe some things, and I'll
Like
make
there
it
are
pretty
trees.
later. There are trees. They are tall. Tall trees. Oh no.
There is dirt.
There's dirt. There are some leaves.
Yeah,
Many
I've also
leaves.
found too, with the one I did yesterday, it's a fight that takes place in a cemetery. And so I like drew out a small map of like,
Yes.
okay, well, this is where the service is. This is where you're going to walk over to have your fight. And this is where people are going to be milling around. And that like really helped ground the setting. So
Yeah.
it's like, oh, well, I know what's going to be said. I know where they are. Now I get to just have fun. And like,
Yeah. Yesterday I spent like a full, probably almost an hour, I'm ashamed to admit, just trying to look up like a certain set of stairs. Like it's called it's called an imperial staircase, where it like branches out and comes down into two sets of stairs.
Mhm.
And I could not for the life of me find, like I have it very solidly in my mind what I want it to look like. And I was just like searching. I finally found it. I was like, oh my God. So I saved like 10 pictures of it.
So we've got lots of great word counts, and also some people who were excited about getting to write snark. So you're welcome. I was like, that's always like, I feel like if you're ever like stuck and you like don't know what to do, just like write like some snarky dialogue. You may not keep it, but just write it because it'll get you going. And then we actually had a question from In Griswold. She said, I think I have too many named characters in my story. I'm trying to combine characters, but I also feel like if the cast is too small, you'll walk by the same 3 people every day. Do you have any suggestions? I think a lot depends on like the setting you have. Like if it's a setting where there should be a lot of people, and if it's a setting where those people should know who each other are, if that makes sense. Because like you don't have to be walking by the same 3 people every day if it's just like they're in a big city. Like they can just, it doesn't have to be named characters, you know. It can just be like just
Even
random
like at
people and it doesn't
school,
matter.
like it's
But
just
if-
kind of,
Yeah, if it's like a school, like when you're in high school.
you can know who they are, but you don't need to register everyone you're walking by. I would think of like, yes, I know that's Ashley and John and whatever, but your brain is just walk by some people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I think it's kind of like an intimate setting where people do know each other, and that's where it gets difficult because then you're like, I have to like come up with all these people. And
I was reading I've just been reading the audiobook of The Female of the Species, which is all set in high school. And I was actually noticing some of that because they have like definite, like she's written kind of groups into the book. So there's like the PK's ex-boyfriend and the girl he's like currently dating. And then some of their friends are named, but not all of them. Just the people that they kind of like actually deal with on the page. And then it's acknowledged that they're hanging out with other people. They have a group they sit with at the cafeteria, but none of the other people are named.
Yeah, I think it comes down to like thinking of, are these characters who are functioning in the plot, or are these characters who are functioning as setting? And if they're functioning as setting, you can look more at like, well, what is their purpose? You know, if I'm writing a book and it's about Emma and she walks down the hall, she can just see Kelly hanging out with a group of her other friends. Like, you don't have to name the other friends. Or if you are in a school, like I think Anne Griswold said it is a school, you can just be like, some people from my math class walk by. But if it is someone that's going to be actually doing things in the plot, then, you know, as long as they're doing stuff, there's no limit.
I always wanted to figure out how the Harry Potter books did, because like their extended world people is handled so well. Of just like all these kids that go to the school, like I know what house they're in, even though most of these kids never do anything. But they're just so memorable and how they're.
It's like the sorting hat, right?
Yeah.
It's like,
and also 7 books to help you develop it. Lots of books. Yeah, and I was gonna say, I think there's kind of like different levels. Like you are gonna have people in a school who are just total background. It's just I walk past, you know, some kids from like the baseball team. You know, like you recognize kind of who they are, or they're just random
they're the
people or
baseball
whatever.
team, so the reader imagines them in a baseball
Yeah,
shirt.
or like, you know, just like a group of kids waiting outside their math classroom or something, like just like set dressing. And then there's like people that maybe your character knows their name, but they don't really, they're not, like Megan said, a part of the plot, you know? So like, because sometimes I think that can add some depth to be like, I see this named person over here doing something, but like they're not really someone, you don't have to come up with a personality for them, basically. Like, but you do have like maybe just like a list of names that you can like pull from when you want to like reference a name. And then you need to figure out which people, need to have like personality.
I noticed
who like your character's gonna be really interacting with.
Yeah, I noticed with, it's like a few degrees of separation, it seems like. I noticed with like Mindy McGinnis, who wrote the book I'm reading, has only named the ones that are like in relation to the people that the main characters are acting and reacting to. Like there's a scene where PK, one of the main characters, actually punches this other girl. The other girl is named because there's a whole scene with her, but she has friends that are not named. They're just called her friend, right? Because there's just not enough interaction with them. They're there, they're supporting their friend, but they don't need a name or an identity.
It's also worth noting that like it's not weird if you encounter the same characters repeatedly at, you know, if they're at school. I went to a reasonably large high school, but it's like, you know, presumably when I'm walking to math class and the people who are walking in the other direction to go to their class, like we have the same classes every day. So if we pass each other every day, that makes sense.
Good point. That's a good question, though. I think that is a hard balance to find sometimes.
For sure.
I'd be curious to go through a popular book that has a school setting and kind of like even just count how many people are named. Be like,
that's a good idea, actually.
10 names in the whole school, you know?
Yeah, it's a good idea. Like pick a book that's like a similar genre in a school setting and read it and see like what the author does. Because that's something that I think when it's well done, you don't pay attention to.
Yeah, you don't know. Which is a good thing. If you're like, there's way too many people, then that's an issue.
Yeah. Which like I've read books like that where I'm like, there's too many names.
I don't remember which state.
They all start with A. Like,
yeah.
It's because they looked at the start of the baby name book and didn't go any further. Stop calling me out like this, Rachel.
And it changes too depending on your character's personality. Like if they're popular, they're going to know more people by name and like care enough to think about them by name. But the book that came to my mind with like school was the Raven Boys, and we do get some scenes in the school. And like Gansey knows a lot of people, but still feels a bit like an outsider compared to them. And so you don't get a ton of names when he's just wandering around the school, even when he is acknowledging people.
I remember he was talking about the rowing team a lot.
Yeah.
But like, do we know
he
a
was
single
on.
person?
He was on.
Yeah,
Well,
he
he's
was on the
on, but I'm
rowing
like, do you know anybody off the rowing team? No.
I usually feel like there's like one person that they know the name of, and like you catch a glimpse of personality when they're interacting with him, and he kind of represents like the whole baseball team or the whole football, the football team, or whatever like that.
All right. Well, I guess we'll start our last sprint in a minute. I think should we just do like 10 minutes for this one? We've been going for a while. So
Yeah, 10
okay, so
minutes.
we're just gonna do a 10-minute short sprint for our last one. And our last Legend of Zelda themed prompt is, hey, listen. So your character learns an important piece of information.
Wonderful. Putting that in the discussion section now.
Just wait for it to switch to the 45 and then we will start. There we go. All right, so we're going to write for 10 minutes. We'll be back at the 55. So just kind of do some quick wrapping up. Good luck. in time. A minute late.
Extra writing time.
Alright. Hopefully that went well for everyone. I'm like still figuring things out. So
Nice.
I feel like I made progress tonight.
Yes. I finished blocking out that scene and got it
Yay.
started. So
Awesome.
yay team.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be doing a lot more homework this week.
I'm definitely in that like recently graduated feeling where I'm like, I never want to ever do homework again.
Mm-hmm. I know. Once I have a year left in this degree, and once I'm done that, I'm like,
That's what I thought after my
That's what I
bachelor's
thought.
degree.
that's true. That's true. I'm just like, oh god, how do people have multiple degrees? And just, Kyra, how does that happen? Do you like doing homework?
Oh, I'm just bad at my life.
Vila Panza said 394 words. Not as good, but I did kill someone off, so I'm happy.
Excellent.
That's the sort of spirit we go for here.
The life of a writer, yeah. It's a
If
good day
you
when you
also-
murder someone.
Yeah. If you are watching this and also agree that it's a good day when you kill off a character, please like and subscribe.
Very smooth segue there.
Perfect.
Mhm.
So yeah, we'll probably sign off in a couple minutes if we don't have any last minute questions come in. We'll give people a second just in case. But yeah, go team. We all feel very tired.
Mhm. I know. I'm so sorry. I've just been yawning nonstop this entire chat.
I thought I started it, so I'm glad it's not just me.
I considered taking a nap this afternoon, and then I didn't, and then I kind of regretted it.
Mhm.
Like my everyday dilemma.
It's like I wasted my chance.
Yeah.
Like, will I regret taking several hours out of my day and not getting the work done, or will I regret not napping?
Yes, both.
Yes to both.
Both of those things.
Whatever I choose, I'm gonna regret.
Yeah. The worst is when you do both and you lie down for an hour but can't nap, and then it's like the worst of those.
Oh,
yeah. That's why I can't nap. Like every time I tried to nap in the past, I just wake up either more tired or more confused because I wake up from a nap being like, "What year is it?" And then
Yeah. It's Rip Van Winkle time. I have
Yeah,
grown a beard
exactly.
and no longer know what year it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Terrible.
Yeah, I think we were good. Just people putting their word counts. Everybody did great. I'm very proud. So I think we will go ahead and sign off for tonight. What next week? We were talking about Mexican Gothic.
Yes,
Yay.
read
By
it.
Sylvia
Book
Marina
club.
Garcia. Yes, if you have not read it yet, you should. It is very good, especially if you like creepy things.
Mhm.
So we will see y'all next Sunday for book club. And then we will, of course, have videos this week on Tuesday and Thursday. And we will see you later. Bye.
Bye.